stock price. So I believe that some more patience can probably reward the viewer. On the upside, I think 645 to 650 could be an immediate target. So you can make maybe another 7% to 8% further on your investments.
All right, this one is for you, Mr. Chokalingam, and this one is from Priya. She's saying that she's bought 100 shares of Nykaa, which she's purchased at a price of 1,858 rupees per share. So she's asking, is there any scope of seeing some improvement in this or not, and whether she should continue to hold on to Nykaa or look to sell it?
She can hold to minimize a loss. If it improves 5-10% or a little more than that, she should exit, because I don't find any valuation comfort at all in this kind of e-commerce companies.
Mr. Chokalingam, coming back to you on an auto anch company, Madasa & Sumi is the name of the counter. Dikshita wants to know about this. You recently had the wiring or harness business that was listed, but what would you say about the parent, Madasa & Sumi?
Most of these companies have problems globally as well as in the domestic market. All of us know the kind of stress auto sector is going through in terms of demand as well as input inflation. So if she is holding, she can hold. If she wants to add, it is better to add after seeing March quarterly results.
Okay, Kunal, this one is from you. This one is for you from Jaswant Reddy. And he is saying that he's bought option call at strike of 450 of Tata Motors, which expires on April 28th. He wants to know whether he should hold on to it, or if not, what sort of a stop loss also which he should keep in mind.
I'm not sure what the premium the viewer has paid to buy the option call, but I believe that you can look to hold on to the stock. Now, even the Tata Motors has gone to a consolidation, but I believe 450, 425 is a broad range for the stock, and has been trying to meander into this range at least over the last 1 to 2 weeks. High possibility that the stock can come back towards 450. Many auto stocks like Eicher, etc., M&M, they're getting into a recovery phase. So possibly in the month of April, we may see many of these auto stocks, they may try to come out of the consolidation. So in that expectation, I would suggest a hold.
Kunal, on IDBI Bank, we've got Sudha who bought at levels of 57, and she just wanted a little bit of a clarification. I think we spoke about this yesterday, but she's wondering what to do. The stock is trading between 42 and 43. Should she hold on?
Well, I will suggest to hold on for some more time. Possibly the stock is getting into a time-wise correction. It's consolidating in the range of 42, 40, 44, 45 on a very short-term basis. So I think if the stock continues to spend some more time over here, there is a higher chance that the breakout may happen on the upside for IDBI Bank. I'll suggest a hold.
All right, that's on IDBI Bank. This one is from Sikka Nanda and wants to know which is the best mid-cap stock in the IT space for a 3-year time frame. Mr. Chokalingam, for you, this is definitely for you. Which is the best mid-cap IT stock that you would advise our viewers?
I would suggest Cyient Limited. I am extremely optimistic on the counter. A, price correction, and B, valuation multiples are at a much sharp discount to stocks like Persistent, Emphasis, Happiest Mind, and also 1/3 of the business from aviation. All of us know the airline business is now picking up, at least in terms of the traffic. So all these are positive for Cyient Limited.
Chokalingam, Heritage Foods is the name of the counter, and we've got a question coming in from Rashmi. She's asking about the potential to get into this stock for the long term on the fundamentals.
One can buy. The only concern is that it is extremely volatile on both stock market as well as fundamentals. They keep swinging in a wild manner. So whenever the stock becomes weak, it is good to add. It's very attractive at the current valuation.
All right. Moving on, this one is coming from Anup Gaura, and he's saying that he's bought DMart at the price of around 4,000 rupees per share. About 250 shares of DMart is what he's purchased. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to it or look to exit this particular counter. What's your take on DMart, Kunal?
I'll suggest to hold on, not to add at current levels, because the short-term parameters and the indicators for DMart have gone to negative territory. So there could be a chance that the stock may continue to drag for some more time, but then it's a stock which has done exceptionally well on long-term basis. So if you have a longer-term kind of a time frame, possibly you can extend it to that kind of a time frame, then I believe you can definitely look to hold on DMart.
We've got a question coming from Alma, and she's asking about Morepen Labs. at levels of 38. Kunal, do you track this, and would you suggest that it's a good entry point? It's been battered a little bit.
I think it's battered significantly. I think from a high of 74, 75 in mid of 2021, the stock is almost half to current levels of 36, 37. So I think in that sense, it's a bit of a tricky name because of this huge volatile swings the stock keeps on seeing. But purely in terms of risk reward, now with the stock correcting 50%, there could be more downside, but the downside could be restricted towards maybe another 5, 7, 10% for the stock price. So if you're okay with a certain set of a stop loss, maybe a 10% to 12% stop loss, then you can hold on to your investments over here, or you can look to buy the stock over here purely as a high risk bet, contra bet. And on the upside, the stock revise, we can probably expect the stock to come back towards 45, 47 levels at least.
All right. This one is from Harish. He's writing to us from Bangalore, and he wants a suggestion on which sector can he actually look to invest for the next 1 year. Right now, he's holding shares in the FMCG space. The sector is struggling, is what he's saying. So he wants our valuable insight on which sector can he look to invest in for the next 1 year. Mr. Chokalingam, I know 1 year, a short time frame, but any advice that you would want to give Harish? No doubt FMCG sector is under pressure, will also see some more pressure due to the inflation, due to the rise in cost prices as well. But which sector can you look at for the next 1 year?
Certainly, the FMCG will have more pain. So you can look at a private player in oil and gas, or something like a Reliance Industry. We have a very aggressive target on Reliance Industry because we believe Reliance Industry will become a Reliance economy. It's evolving itself into an economy. In the small cap, you can look at Sequent Scientific. It's a global company and engaged in animal nutrition. Very defensive business. Stock has come down more than 60% from the peak. I believe if he likes a little bit of risk, he can go for Sequent Scientific. Otherwise, Reliance Industry would be the safest bet for the next 1 year.
Chokalingam, question from the automotive sector then. We've got Mr. Kasturi Rangan who's asking, he's bought Eicher at levels of 2846, but he says that it's not moving as much as he had initially thought. In fact, it's been going down. Should he look at Maruti at this current level, anticipating a turnaround in the passenger vehicle space?
To me?
Yes, Mr. Chokalingam.
Is it to me?
Yes, Mr. Chokalingam.
Sorry. Yeah. See, the two-wheeler phase, there is another structural change happening. All of us know that's a EV4A. But what is surprising is that if you look at the top 5 ranking in terms of two-wheeler sales in EV space, none of the traditional players are there, including Asia is not there in the top 5, which means the market structure is going through a massive change, which is not favorable to the existing two-wheeler players. And in CV space also, you have the input inflation problem. So therefore, it's better to move away from two-wheeler. Yes, Maruti also has a problem, but I still feel it is in price. And Maruti would come back with the engines in the next 1 to 2 years. So therefore, he can consider Maruti instead of holding Asia.
This one is from Mr. Dasaradi, and he's saying that he's holding 200 shares of Ashoka Buildcon that he's purchased at 115 rupees per share. He's asking whether he should hold or exit. He's saying that he wants to buy Poonawalla Finance as well at current market price. But either Ashoka Buildcon or on Poonawalla Finance, which one would you want to advise him on first, Kunal?
I think you can do that switch. You can move on from Ashoka Buildcon. The stock is I think more or less have been more of a drag in the last, I think, 1 year. 2021 start is where the stock made a top at I think 114, 15 levels for itself, and the stock is now gradually corrected towards 86, 87. So it looks like more of a stock which is getting into a broad time-wise correction. But in the same time, Poonawalla, FinCorp, I think has done reasonably well for itself. It's climbed up more than 50%, I think, in the previous 1.5 odd years. So I think in that sense, it could be a good switch.
Gentlemen, let's run through a few questions quickly because there are quite a few that are piling up. This next one, Kunal, is for you. Hindalco is the counter. It's under pressure today, but we've got a viewer, Vishal, who's bought at levels of 511, he says. And should he hold on? That's the question. I
will suggest to hold on. If you're looking out for a trailing stop loss, maybe a 564, could be a good trailing stop loss for Hindalco. But I believe that post these negative news flows in the stocks reacting, there is a higher chance that the stock may make a good comeback. Hindalco, I believe on the upside, should head towards 635.
Just a fresh buy? Would you suggest?
On Hindalco?
Yeah, on Hindalco?
Yeah, you can look to fresh buy as well.
Okay, this one is from Emil Money, and he's asking whether he can buy APL Apollo tubes at current market price for the longer term. How does the prospect look for this particular counter, Mr. Chokalingam?
Long term looks good, but short term it should suffer from high material prices. So therefore, I would suggest him to wait for March result, then consider buying it.
Mr. Chokalingam, Tata Chemicals for the long term, would you suggest that one can hold on? Rajiv Sareen from New Delhi is bought in at levels of 1,021. Should he hold on?
Yeah, certainly you can hold on. There is a hope for substantial recovery from current level.
All right. This next query that I have is from Shanmuga Sundaram, and he's saying that he's bought 40 shares of Deepak Nitrite, which he's purchased at 2,200 rupees per share. He's asking, can he add some more? His time horizon is 1 year. What's your take, Kunal?
Absolutely, yes. We'll go ahead and suggest to buy the stock or even average on any kind of a dip which you see into the stock price.
Okay. Mr. Chokalingam, advice on Cochin Shipyard is being sought. This question is from Vivek. And he's bought, I think, 4 years back at levels of 408. He's making losses. Should he continue holding?
And continue to hold because the dividend yield is very high and very low single-digit PE. Unfortunately, it is one of the PSUs which failed to participate in the massive bull run we have seen. But fundamentals are very strong, so therefore he can continue to hold.
All right, this one is from Sagar. He wants a technical view on Intellect Design Arena. He's bought about 2,000 shares at the levels of around 380 rupees per share. He's saying earlier bought it for swing, but now holding it for the longer term, thinking of adding another 1,000 shares. But what should he do? Do you think that's a good move, Kunal?
I think you can continue to hold. I believe 850 could be a good positional based trailing stop loss for Intellect Design.
Okay. Mr. Chokalingam, this is on Adani Wilmar, and I think a lot of people had spoken about it during IPO time. And in fact, those that missed out perhaps were regretting not having gotten allocation. Shubham wants to know whether he should enter the current market price.
I feel it is quite risky. I mean, not entire business is a branded oil business. Therefore, one should not jump after the stock has gone up phenomenally high.
Right. It tends to get a bit, you feel left out when you see sharp rise in certain counters, and then you rethink that.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, the fear of FOMO, as Anantara keeps calling it all the time. Moving on, this one is from Gopi Krishna. He's saying that he has about 25 shares of Bajaj Finance, which he's purchased for 2,200 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do for the longer term. Mr. Chokalingam, stay put with this one.
Yeah, definitely. After recent little correction, it makes sense to hold on. And also, while banking credit is expected to grow 8%, the NBFCs are expected to grow 14%. Obviously, Bajaj Finance will beat that by big margin. So therefore, you can hold on to it.
Okay. We've got Shravan from Ahmedabad, who's holding on to Dilip Buildcon since levels of 100. And he is looking for a view on construction and infrastructure space for the next 3 to 4 years, Mr. Chokalingam. First, what should he do on Dilip Buildcon? Should he hold on? And if not, would you suggest other names?
He can hold on, but I don't know why he has been holding for years. If I heard you rightly, he should have exited. He can hold on. If there is a recovery of 10-15%, he should exit Dilip Buildcon.
Before we kickstart with rapid fire, let me take this one also. This one is from Trilochan Barik. He's asking about KEC International. He's purchased 46 shares at a price of around 378 rupees per share. What should he do with his holding right now, Kunal?
I think he should hold. If he's bought, I think the current market price is very similar to the stock price. I will definitely recommend to hold. It's a quality mid-cap name and has potential to make a strong comeback. So if you have a time frame of 1 year to 2 years, then I believe 500 could be a nominal target for KEC.
Gentlemen, it's time to hit the rapid fire segment, and there are quite a few queries that are already piling in. I will start with a question from Smita. She's talking about new gen technologies, and she's asking whether it can be bought, Kunal, for a couple of years at the current market price.
I believe yes, the stock has come back towards a good support territory. Retraces also quite well. You can look to buy.
Okay, this is from Chetu. She's saying that she bought Tata Elxsi at 5,900, sold it at 9,070 so that she can enter at dip. Do you think that it's a right decision and strategy, and at what price she should re-enter Tata Elxsi, Kunal?
Well, I believe it's a good strategy where you look to exit. Had you trailed your stop losses, that would have been also better. If you're looking for a re-entry, 7,500 or slightly below would be a better price.
Mr. Choklingam, Nalini wants to know about L&T Finance for a period of 5 years. Should she enter at the current level?
It's better to enter Bajaj Finance than L&T Finance because Bajaj Finance gives you more visibility and consistent growth perspective.
Okay, this is from Kati Ravanan and he wants a view on endurance technology. Right time to enter right now. What's your take, Kunal?
I think right time to enter. The stock has come back towards a double bottom support. 1100 is where it's trading right now. Good time to buy.
Mr. Choklingam, which IPO, if any, are you watching very closely right now? Naresh wants to know.
Certainly, whatever is opening, I'm not comfortable on the basis of the fundamentals. So I don't have any idea to recommend.
All right, this one is from someone whose name is insanely mad. He's saying that he's bought CESC at about 91 rupees per share, 800 shares. Should he hold on to it, Kunal?
I'll suggest to exit the stock.
Mr. Choklingam, I think you've already given your view on this. Axis Bank, would you buy for the long term?
Certainly, yes. And I don't own any of the stocks so far I have recommended on the channel.
That is a question from Karen, by the way.
Okay, this one is from Rama Rao and he wants advice on Coal India. What should he do, Mr. Chokalingam? Look to buy, or if he's already bought, then look to stay put with it?
Yes, he can stay, and if it jumps another 10-15%, he can exit because I'm expecting all the mineral prices to crash once the war ends.
Okay, we've got a question coming from Bobby Jacob from Coimbatore. He's asking about Adani Power at the current level. Kunal, would you suggest a fresh entry?
Not suggest a fresh entry. The stock has run up extremely high. Wait for a good amount of correction into the stock, or you can look to book profits over here.
You know, we've come to the end of the rapid fire and the query segment, and I, wonder how fast this segment actually gets over, Kunal. But it's all thanks to our experts, Kunal, as well as Mr. Chokalingam. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, giving us your take on the Axis Bank and Citibank deal, as well as resolving our viewer queries. But on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. But stay tuned, lots more lined up for you on the other side, so don't go anywhere.